Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this 4th generation Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Carbon. If you're wondering how to check that, you can actually see that on here. It's really hard to see, you kind of have to tilt at a certain angle. If you just have like a temporary short, nothing like spilled on it or no weird damage, and your computer for some reason isn't turning on, there's this little pinhole right here. You can actually, there's a button underneath there. If you push that with a little pin, you can press and hold that for about 15 seconds, and sometimes that'll fix it. It basically does somewhat of like a BIOS or Cmos reset. All right, anyways, we're gonna remove this USB first. We're gonna use a PH1 or JIS1 screwdriver, and we're gonna undo all the screws that are in here. I think if I remember correctly, the screws actually stay in place. We'll see. If the screws come out, you do want to keep them in order because they can be different size, shape, and length, so keep that in mind. Alright, looks like these screws are actually holding themselves in place, so we don't really have to worry about keeping them in order as long as they stay in the panel. Okay, but you do want to undo all of them, of course. One time I told somebody, you don't have to remove the screw, and then they were like, oh, okay, so they didn't even unscrew them. They just left them there, and they're like, hey, you lied. You do have to remove the screw. And I'm like, no, you just have to unscrew it, like undo it, and then you can pull it. It stays in the cover. Anyways, let's go ahead and pull this cover up. If this video helps you out, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. This part of the cover is a little bit difficult, tricky. I pull this, and then usually I get my fingernail in here. You can use plastic pry tools to kind of pop the clips like this, okay, as you can see. Just like that. Okay, and yeah, if this video helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Alright, there we go. We got that. We're going to kind of wiggle this. Sometimes the screws kind of get stuck a little, so you might have to undo it while you're kind of lifting it. But it doesn't seem like that's the case. Maybe some clip or something is stuck here. So we're going to kind of pull the case this direction, up that way, while we're kind of lifting it. And there we go. Alright, so here you go. And if you're wondering, I kind of held this case while I kind of used my fingers here to push this down and pull that up. That's why the laptop kind of slid that way. Alright, so the customer said that they spilled some liquid on here. So what we're going to be doing, oh, by the way, this is the little button that I was telling you about that does the BIOS or CMOS reset. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be just completely taking this thing apart just to check for any liquid damage or corrosion or anything like that, okay? So we're going to kind of just peel stuff up and just take a look underneath. Let's go ahead and remove the battery first, okay? So we're going to peel this up and out of the way. Okay, the battery connector on here is a little bit tricky. Let me see if I can kind of show you that. Hopefully my phone's not going to shut itself off from heating. It's pretty warm. All right, anyways, I don't know how I'm going to hold this plastic out of the way. Let me get something to put on it. There we go. All right, so what you're going to do to remove this battery connector, actually we'll go from this side. All right, so what you do is you pop this connector up. You want to be careful and make sure you're just popping up the top part of the connector, not underneath. So you pull this up, as you can see, and once you do that, we can actually slide the connector this way, and then once you slide it that way, you can actually lift it out, okay? So here you can see the connector just comes out just like that. All right, when it goes back in, same thing, you have to push it slightly that way to get it down into place. Then you can see these two little sides can slide underneath. You slide it back, and then you push this down to click it back into place, okay? Again, we're gonna pull this back up, all right, just like that. Once you slide it, you're gonna slide this whole connector forward, and then you can kind of just lift this up, all right? I might have to use my other finger to kind of grab it, and there we go. All right, that's how you remove the battery, or at least disconnect the battery, okay? And then we're gonna now remove the battery. If you're wondering, the battery model number, is there one here? So there's multiple part numbers and stuff here. I would just look for Lenovo X1 Carbon 4th generation, or ThinkPad X1 Carbon, whatever. But there are these model numbers here, the ASM and FRU part numbers, all right? So you can try using that, SB10F46466. But again, you should be able to find it just by searching Lenovo X1 Carbon 4th generation battery. Okay, anyways, let's go ahead and start disconnecting a bunch of stuff. So I guess we'll zoom in a bit. Whoa. didn't mean to zoom in that much, but we're going to disconnect the speaker cable here. Just wiggle that and pull it. There we go. All right, once you've gotten that out, let's see here, what do we got? We are going to have to remove the speakers. And is there a screw under here? I don't know. Let's see here. Kind of hate when these laptops put all this adhesive stuff everywhere. Anyways, we're going to remove the 2 speaker screws on both sides. So there's 2 on this side and 2 on the other side. Again, you want to keep all these screws in order. The way I do that is I put them flat side down like this. On my desk, in the pattern, I remove them. All right, I'm going to have to put them up here out of the way. But again, you want to keep all the screws in order because they can be different size shipping lengths. There's likely going to be a lot of screws, so you want to be careful if you're working on this computer. All right, you can see this is lifting up. There's 1 screw in the center here. All right, if you are going to be doing this, make sure that you're able to somehow keep track of all the screws, because again, if they're different size and shape or length and you put them in the wrong spot, you can damage the screw mount. So it's very important that you get that right. Okay, so what I do is I'm going to just arrange this into like the 5 pattern that it is. So 4 in a square and then 1 in the center. All right, and that's how I remember that. All right, let's go ahead and see if we can lift this up now. Again, we did disconnect the speaker cable. Oops, let me zoom out here so you guys can see. All right, so again, we did disconnect the speaker cable. So now we can hopefully lift this up just like this. Okay, just like that. We're gonna lift this speaker up just like that. And hopefully, there we go. All right, so also I noticed there's these 2 little feet here at the edge that actually slide underneath the motherboard. So you want to keep that in mind. When you put this back, it has to slide back underneath like that. Okay, this does have quite a bit of dust on it, so probably gonna, let me wipe it off to the trash can next to me. All right, though since it's dust, probably gonna end up with a lot in my work area, but it is what it is. All right, so we'll set the battery aside. All right, one of my customers have been waiting for this laptop, so hopefully I can get it done tonight. I've been getting too much work and other things going on, so yeah. All right, anyways, we got an SSD here. This is a M.2, looks like a SATA. Yeah, this is a M.2 SATA. I don't know if it supports PCIe NVMe, but this is an M.2 SATA SSD, okay? If you want to be safe, you want to get an M.2 SATA SSD to put in here. If you're okay with potentially having to return the parts and stuff, then go for a PCIe NVMe because it's a lot faster actually. So I would take the risk because all you have to do is remove the bottom cover and that 1 screw to replace the SSD. You actually don't have to remove the battery to do that. You just have to make sure your computer's off if you're going to be doing that. All right, so we got all these connectors. This design is somewhat annoying because there's all this tape and then lots of little connectors holding other connectors into place. Let's see what we got to do here. Okay, we got this board on top. It looks like there's a layer. There's another board underneath. There's a purple cable going over here. Let's see. There's some arrows pointing to some of these screws. So some of the screws, they'll keep themselves to where you know where they go because as you can see on this one, there's a little arrow here. There's a white arrow there. So I'm going to pull these screws out and we'll see what happens. But all right, we got that one. We're going to get the one up here. Okay, there's no arrow up on this one, so I don't know if I should be removing that. Let's go ahead and do that anyways. Actually, it looks like it's trapped underneath the motherboard or underneath the hinge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this latch up and let me see, should I zoom in more? So I flip this latch up and then we're going to see if we can actually pull this cable out here. So this tape strip, there we go, I got it out. So this strip of like tape, we're going to use that to pull that connector out. And we're going to see, we'll probably leave that connector, this piece down here in, unless we really have to remove it. We might, but guess we'll find out. All right, and then we got the wireless antennas. They have these mixed around, it's kind of weird. So let me actually get a marker so I can mark this stuff up. So usually what I like to do is when there's the black arrow here, if it's not with the black arrow, I like to kind of just mark the cable so I know. But usually the position of the cable will kind of tell you where it came from. All right, anyways, we're going to pull these cables out. Usually you just go underneath and pull straight up. It helps to kind of use 2 fingers, or you can use tweezers and then just pull it straight up just like that. All right, we're going to go with the other one, same thing. Sorry, the plastic's getting in the way, but you just pull this straight up and it pops out like that. All right, let's actually, okay, I guess we'll set this aside. That's gonna, why is there like pencil lead in here? All right, anyways, how am I gonna remember how this was sitting? Oh, okay, it was like that. So I line up the, sorry, so if you peel this off, it lines up with that circle there. Okay, so we're gonna peel that off and leave that aside, and hopefully I'll remember where it went to put it back. I should be able to. All right, we got the wireless antennas here. We're gonna have to unroute those cables. Okay, not too important which one goes in first and last, but the black one, if you're putting it back, should go in first if you want to maintain the position of the current setup. All right, and I'm gonna use this to help me push that out of that little clip there. All right, we got the LCD LVDS stuff. I don't think I held the power button after removing the battery, so let's actually do that. We're going to hold the power button for 15 seconds to drain any residual power. This will make it a lot safer to work on and is very important for when you're moving the LCD LVDS connector around. All right, so some people ask if they have to do it. It's 15 seconds. That could potentially save you if you go the Geico route. 15 seconds could save you like whatever percent on your charge. Yeah, no, it can save you like hundreds to, depending how much your laptop's worth, it can save you up to thousands of dollars. So just do it. All right, 15 seconds, not bad. If you can't wait 15 seconds, I don't recommend you open your computer at all. All right, anyways, let's go ahead and get this cable out. It looks like there's some adhesive underneath, so that's gonna be a pain. All right, how are we gonna get that out? Yeah, it seems like there's an adhesive under there. Am I going to have to try and get the adhesive out with this? Okay, so I'm going to use this thin tool and help kind of run along the side to kind of just peel that adhesive up. All right, that's kind of annoying. There we go. So we got the adhesive out. Here you can see where the adhesive is. All right. Okay, then they got some screws hidden under here. So let's go ahead and start just disconnecting things. All right, we got this cable here for the fingerprint sensor that's down there. We're gonna flip that, and then once you flip that, you kind of have to lift it a little bit and then pull it back. All right, if you can't get underneath, you can try and get this little clear tab there that's on top. But yeah, all right, I'm not sure what this cable's for, but I guess we'll find out. Maybe it runs underneath and then runs to this board here. That might be what it's for. It looks like it. All right, so we're gonna get the clear plastic tab this time because it's kind of just laying here on the keyboard. It's a bit easier to grab. So we're gonna pull it up slightly and pull it back, and there you go. We got that cable disconnected. I want to pull it back a little bit to keep it back. All right, there you go. All right, what else we got? We got this cable under here, or the screw, sorry. So we got this screw under here that was hiding underneath the video cable. All right, again, this laptop was liquid damaged, so we'll see what happens. Liquid damage can be hit or miss depending what got damaged. All right, we're gonna remove this screw here. Okay, this is gonna be a little bit difficult to keep track of. There's nothing here, so I'm gonna put a black mark on it, even though there's a square. Just to tell me that I took a screw out of there. Okay, let's see what else. Do we need to remove this? It doesn't look like it. Okay, so I'm just going to be constantly checking if I need to remove specific screws. Okay, all right, let's go ahead and continue. I'm going to leave, well actually, let me take the wireless card out just to take a look at it. I don't think it has water damage, but let's go ahead and just take it out anyway. So it's kind of like the SSD. You lift it up slightly at an angle, then you can kind of wiggle it and pull it out. And this looks perfectly fine. So, okay. I can't tell if there's, liquid damage there, or if it just looks dirty. Let me, what happened to my toothbrush I was using to do this? All right, give me a second. I need to go get a toothbrush to brush this stuff off, and I'll be back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Okay, why did I need the toothbrush? It's not that dirty. All right, anyways, let's clean this up a little bit. Oh yeah, this part I was trying to see. Sorry, I got distracted and then forgot what I was doing. All right, anyways, we're gonna leave the wireless card out, I guess. All right, let's see what we got here. It's holding this down. Okay, I guess these square ones, so there's a bunch of these parts with like little white squares next to it. I'm assuming they're these different smaller screws. So these are shorter, smaller screws. And it seems like that's what those squares are representing. And the triangles are representing the longer ones. So let's see if that's true. There's another square here. All right, that is another short one. So let's go ahead and see. There we go. And another square over here. Okay, and yes, this is another short one. So it looks like that might be the case. All right, we got these two screws over here. So let's go ahead and get these two out. All right, so this is somewhat long, so we'll get that. And we'll get this one. I'm guessing this is going to be a long one as well. All right, let's see if we can remove the metal plate. And yes, we can. We'll set that aside. Keep it with those screws. And then we got one all the way down here. All right, in case you couldn't see, right there. Okay, so we'll get that third one out. Again, it looks like the triangles mark like longer type screws. So yeah, all right, let's see what we can do. We can somewhat lift this, but something is kind of holding it. Okay, we're gonna remove all these cables here. So we got the keyboard connector here. Flip that latch up, all right? Once you flip that up, we can go ahead and pull this back. You wanna be careful. Okay, it has this little plastic thing to help you pull it back. You can use that. Usually you gotta lift it slightly, so I'm gonna hold the board down, pull it up slightly, and then pull it back. There we go. We got this connector here for the keyboard backlight, most likely. All right, usually when the cables are this like orangey brownish color, these are keyboard backlight cables. Not always, but usually. All right, pull it up and pull it back. There we go. Then we got the trackpad cable here. Same thing, flip that latch up. There's a clear tab here to help you pull that up and pull it back. And there we go. All right, so what else are we missing? Because it still feels like it's holding itself down. All right, anyways, we got the other cable here. So we're gonna peel that up. Okay, there we go. All right, we'll peel this up. All right, and peel this. All right, and let's see if we can now peel this out. This thing feels like it has some thermal stuff in it. So it does, or it should, I guess, provide some extra function. All right, let's peel this or flip that latch up, and then we're gonna get this connector. We gotta somewhat peel that up a little. I guess we'll use this tool again to get underneath. And again, we gotta pull up the adhesive here. So I'm gonna use that. What I'm doing is I'm getting it under the connector and then I'm twisting it lightly just to pull up the adhesive. Then we can go ahead and pull that back, as you can see. All right, we're gonna also have to get these cables out. So let's go ahead and get that out. Okay, peel that up. There we go. And we're going to get these out. So I don't know why the red one is in this little thing, but the blue one's not. Maybe it just came out. All right, but there we go. We got those two out. Oh, we got one more screw hidden under here. That's why. Okay, so there we go. All right, so we'll put that there. Let's zoom out again and see if we missed anything else. Let's zoom out a bit more. Zoom out a bit more. Okay, can we get this out? Okay, so as you can see, we can lift the right-hand side up. I do see something that looks weird there, or maybe that's normal. Okay, we're gonna make sure these cables end up out of the way. Slowly keep lifting it. All right, and we're gonna wiggle this and wiggle this and pull it back. Come on, and there we go. You can actually see this cable is held in here with adhesive. I do see some liquid residue damage here, but it's not really on any components, so technically that shouldn't cause any issues. We're gonna clean up the dust here, so I'm gonna just get this off to the side, use a toothbrush, brush that out because I don't want to take it outside right now. It is currently 2:35 a.m. So usually I would use my electric air blower, but when I do that, it's noisy and I don't want the neighbors to complain. So okay, so you can see we cleaned out that dust there. Let's see, liquid wise, other than that, I don't see anything on here. Okay, hopefully it didn't damage their screen. Let me get the dust off again. Okay, there we go. All right, there's a little sign over here. Okay. All right. Okay, so it looks good. We're gonna set this aside for now. Okay, now that we got that set aside, let's go ahead and take a closer look at the board and see if we see any other signs of liquid damage. Okay, I'm gonna get all this stuff out. It's a little dusty. Sorry, a lot of this is just gonna be, oh wow, okay, never mind. I see liquid damage here. Hopefully you can see that. All right, so let me do that real quick. I'm gonna brush off the board, any residue, and I'll be back. All right, so I cleaned off a bunch of it. Let's see if anything is under here. Okay, let's see. So I'll hold that and let's... Okay, there we go. All right, so I kind of cleaned that off, cleaned this off. And the rest of this looks okay. This kind of has some stuff in it, but doesn't seem to want to come out. All right. And I think we're good. We'll clean this a little. This part all looks okay. All right, so what else? All this stuff looks okay. Just a little dusty, it seems. I'll peel a little bit back and just take a look. It looks good for the most part. All right, so there we go. If you're wondering, the fan, you can see these 4 screws here. And then you got 4 screws here holding this metal plate down. And I think this, actually, the fan's not attached to the metal plate. Interesting. So I don't know. This metal plate isn't really holding anything. Okay, so I don't know. It's just filling the gap. It looks like the fan is actually attached to this. You can separate the fan. There's a little clip here, and most likely, if you take the fan out, there's going to be screws underneath holding the 2 layers of the fan together. You can see here, here, here. I think there's going to be 3 screws on the other side, and then there's this clip. Usually those are held in with PH0 or JS0 screws, but I'm not going to take it out because I don't need to. All right, let's see what else we got. Okay, this all looks good. Make sure this is okay. This looks to be like the RAM under here, so if that goes bad, your board is pretty much toast. There is a Cmos BIOS battery here, if I didn't mention that already. All right, or if you can tell, I mean, it's obvious what it is if you've worked on computers or know anything about computers, but that's a Cmos, BIOS, RTC, real-time clock, whatever battery you want to call it. It's all the same thing. All right, and it's a CR 2016. All right, so yeah, I don't really see much else in here, so let's go ahead and reassemble this, and hopefully we're lucky and the thing is survived. The customer told me they tried to turn it on when there was water in it, that's not a good idea. Usually once liquid spills in it, you want to completely disassemble, take it apart, make sure there's no liquid in it before you do anything else. But yeah, all right, we're gonna try and get this back in. So the difficult part is just getting all these cables back to make sure they're on top of the board when you go to put this thing into place. Because as you slide this in, I don't know if you'll notice, everything wants to go back underneath. So you want to hold this at an angle so you can get the headphone jack in and all these little raised mounts. Okay, so just like this, at an angle. All right, you might have to put it at quite a high angle there, as you can see. All right, and then we can slide this in and slowly lower it down. And I'm gonna have to use the, what happened to it out here? Oh, sorry, I got too much stuff on my desk. We're gonna use this plastic tool. You can use whatever works, or you can even just grab these little clear plastic tabs if you can get to it. You can use that to help pull these cables out. But pull that out, make sure it remains on top. All right, all these antennas, make sure those all remain on top because we are going to have to plug them all in, of course. Okay, actually there's some powdery white part here as well, it looks like. I think. I don't know how it went on there so evenly. Maybe not. Okay, I don't know. I think it corroded. It's permanently like that. Anyways, we're going to slowly lower this down. Okay. And it looks like this yellow cable might actually also, not only the keyboard backlight, but also the little touchpad thing in the middle. Okay, there we go. I'm going to grab this and pull that out. Okay, as you can see, we're slowly lowering. Oh no, we got this cable stuck in there and those antennas. So you want to make sure you get all of those out, of course. There we go. Slowly, slowly lowering it back down. Again, we're going to have to get those back out. Okay, pull that up. There we go. Pull this up. There we go. And actually, these are easier to pull with this, I think. All right, drop that all in. Okay, I think everything is dropped back into place. Looks good. Double check all the cables you need are back on top. That. Okay. This. Okay, you got these two cables here. Got that cable there. You got this. You got the two antennas, and you got this and those. All right, let's go ahead and put the screws back in. Okay, pretty straightforward. We have this metal plate we're gonna just put back. Okay, this little piece goes on that raised mount there, slides over there. All right, and tighten this down. All right, and then we'll get all these screws back in. So get that one back in, that one back in. All right, and if you notice, there's not really much on the bottom of the motherboard. All right, and then we'll get this one in this bottom corner in. All right, now we got that. We're gonna get this one up in this corner. All right. Then we got these ones that are in the little squares. So these are the shorter, smaller screws. And this one. All right, another little square screw. Okay. And we got the one up here, another square screw, the small ones. All right. I got this. All right, we got another longer screw here. Hold this up and we'll tighten this down. Hopefully I'm not trapping any cables underneath that I might need to grab. Okay, just gray cable. I don't know if it needs to come out to the... Okay, let's actually take this screw out and see if I can move it. I think it's not... Is it supposed to be under here? Oh, maybe it is supposed to be under here. Okay, we'll leave it there. It looks like it naturally goes that way. Okay, then we got 2 more screws here. Got this one over here. And this one here. All right, there we go. Next, we're going to put the wireless card back in. All right, so wireless card at an angle like this. We're going to pinch both sides to get it in and lower this down into place. All right, here we go. We'll get that screw back in. There we go. All right, and then if you remember correctly, the black wire was in here first, or if I remember correctly, all right, then the gray one in here, okay. The gray one was actually already popping out, but whatever. All right, so we're gonna plug the black cable in first. Let me actually zoom in here for you guys. Sorry about that. I know it was like really hard for you guys to see, yeah, all right, let's get this lined up. You want to make sure it's lined up. The way you know is if you kind of try and move it around on top, it stays in place. Then you can go ahead and click that down. All right, gray one, we're going to do the same thing. Get that in. All right, line that up, and we're going to click that down. All right, didn't really make a click sound on that one, but it did go in. All right, and there we go. Okay, we got the LCD LVDS connector. Make sure the tab thingy is back up again. All right, and we're going to get this into place. I don't know if the gray cable should be on top. I think it might be. All right, let's lift this back up. Get the gray cable out. Let's get this back under. Okay, this lined up. Make sure this cable looks okay. It does. All right. And let's get this lined up. There's some dust in there. Let me clean that up. All right. And we'll get this cable in. It goes in slightly like at a vertical angle, not sideways angle, which it's difficult to do, okay, because of the way the cable has the bend in it. There we go. And then once you got that, flip that latch down. All right, and we'll get this into place. And then we'll just get this into place. All right, and click that down. All right, there we go. Let's go ahead and get these purple and white cables in. Again, flip the latch up, make sure. All right, if you can grab those little clear plastic tabs. All right, let's try and get under there so we can use that. It makes it a little bit easier. You can guide that into place and then push that. There we go. Flip that latch down. You flip it down by just sliding your finger over the top, okay? You don't want to try and pull it with a tool. You just slide your finger over the top. Okay, so we're gonna get this one in. All right, these are a little bit tricky. You do want to try and get this little tab. It helps a lot. Okay. Then we're going to use that to help pull it back and get that in. All right, once that's in, again, slide your finger over the top. Same thing with this. Let's see if I can get that clear piece. It helps. All right, so you grab the little clear tab on it, pull it back, and get that in. There we go, and slide your finger down. Okay, we're almost there. We're getting all these little connectors in. Let's get this one, the trackpad connector in. Same thing. All right, make sure it clears the raised bumps. Right, same thing. Get that tab, flip that latch up, get it in at an angle, get that in. Hopefully you guys are able to see everything I'm doing. Flip the latch down, grab this plastic tab, make sure this latches up, get this in. Okay, make sure it's in properly. Looks like it's good. It's not really sliding anymore. Is that right? seems like it should go in more further, but it doesn't. So I think that's probably as much as it goes. Let's try one more time. Yeah, I think that's as much as it goes in. Right? Flip that latch down. I don't know what this little latch is for, in case you're wondering, because it's just there. Anyways, let's go ahead and get these back into place. So the wireless antennas here, they kind of just sat in here doing nothing. So we're going to get this red one here and the blue one. The blue one, when I took out the adhesive, it was already out. But anyways, we'll wrap that tape back on there. Yeah, as you can see, it just goes out there. Okay, we're going to flip this latch back up and get this cable back in. Okay, get that into place, just like that. Flip this latch back down, and there we go. Let's go ahead and tape this all back over. Okay, so I think we got most everything. Let's go ahead and get the SSD back in. Right, SSD is like this, and it just goes in at an angle like that, and then you kind of push it all the way, drop it in. There's a raised portion of this screw mount that if you have the SSD in far enough, it should lock it to where if you try to move it side or up and down or side to side, whatever, it won't go anywhere. Okay, that's how you know you have it in far enough. Okay, what do we got left? We got this plastic thing here. Let's zoom out a tiny bit here for you guys. All right, so we're gonna line this piece up here. It goes like, lines up with this circle. And then this piece sticks onto the SSD part here. Okay, and then this goes around, you can see around this screw here, and then just stick the rest of this down wherever it can stick. All right, so we got all of that. Now we're gonna get the speakers and the battery in, and that's pretty much it. Hopefully it's gonna turn on okay. If not, likely there's a motherboard issue. Again, this slides in up there, okay? I think this is supposed to be on top. So anyways, let's go ahead and slide the battery into place. Make sure you get the screw mounts lined up. And then slide that in. Okay, this piece has to go over this little raised bump and then drop that down. All right, now that we got that, we're gonna get the speaker wire back routed to this because it kind of came out. All right, and we'll get the speaker back here. Just like that. Okay, then we got this one, same thing, get the wires in. Okay, and we'll get the wires in up here. Okay, get the speaker in just like that. And the wires have to go underneath, so get that, make it go underneath the battery latch and underneath this one. And then it goes up here. One thing I didn't pay attention to is which way the connector goes. You want to make sure if you're replacing this, let's see here. So the wires are, give me a second. Oh yeah, so the pins are higher towards the top. So you do want it this way, where the solid piece of plastic is up. You don't want to twist it upside down, and then here you can see on the bottom, you got these metal pins showing through the bottom. So you want that facing down, all right? So we're gonna go ahead and get this kind of routed here. Let me actually zoom in a bit more, sorry about that. Okay, so we're gonna get this part of the wires routed underneath this part of the battery if we can. Or actually, we can plug it in first, and then we can worry about that. So let's go ahead and plug the battery, or not the battery, the speaker cable in. Just get it lined up, and then you pinch the two pieces together just like that. All right, here you can see it's like that. So let's go ahead and get the blue wire in, routed properly first. All right, kind of lift this up a little bit here. And the red one was kind of just sticking out like that, so I guess we'll just leave it like that. There we go. The red wire is a little too long, so it sticks out like that. Anyways, we're going to zoom out, and we're going to put back the screws here. So if you remember correctly, there was two screws on each speaker, and then there was one in the center. Okay, so that's how you get these back in. That one, this one. Okay, got those two. We're going to go over here and we'll get these two in. Alright, so got that one. And then we get the second one here. And hopefully we're going to be lucky and it's going to power up once we put this all back together. Alright, we got one screw in the middle here for the battery. And I don't think there's any case lid open detection thing, so we should be able to test this with the lid with the bottom cover off. So let's go ahead and get this back into place. I showed how to do this multiple times already, but I'll do it one more time. Goes in at an angle. This back piece slides down. Once it slides into place, click that down. All right, and there we go. Battery is reconnected. You can stick all the adhesive back down, make sure it's not moving anywhere. Let's go ahead and zoom back out. All right, so here you go. We got that. Let's go ahead and actually see if it powers up. We might have to plug in the charger, but let's go ahead and open it and push the button. I see a green light on here. It's a good sign. Keyboard, no lights. I don't know if it's backlit keyboard. Oh no. I think the keyboard backlight, or the LCD backlight circuit is fried. I can actually see the screen, but there's no light. So I think what happened was the customer, when they turned it on, they fried the backlight circuit. Yeah. I don't know if you were able to see that. It showed the Lenovo on it. I think the computer might actually be on. It's just the screen is toast. It's not the screen actually. It's usually the backlight circuit of the motherboard. Yeah, let me plug this into an external monitor. I'll take a look and then we'll go from there. But most likely it's the motherboard, logic board, whatever you want to call it, backlight circuit. All right, I'm going to plug this into an external monitor and I'll be back. All right, so I confirmed it. The screen did pop up. I was able to see the LCD. It did boot to Windows, but the keyboard backlight is dead. Or not the keyboard, the LCD backlight is dead. So we're just going to put this back together. I'll let the customer know, see what they want to do, because most likely it's going to need an expensive motherboard repair or replacement. But yeah, all right, let's go ahead and get this back together. Basically, we got to line the bottom up first. It's still up at an angle in front. But what we're going to do, we got to get the bottom screw areas in first, okay? Okay, and then once we got that, we should be able to lower the rest and get everything into place. All right, so there we go. Got all of that in. Oop, there we go. Okay, and then now we should be able to just go ahead and tighten all the screws back together. All right, anyways, hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, again, please make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. If it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Other than that, yeah, you're welcome to stay while I finish getting all these screws back in. But yeah, hopefully this video helped you guys. And other than that, I'll see you all in the next one. All right, last few screws. Okay, and last one. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. See y'all later. All right, let's drop this. Bye.